I wanted to come to you. I hope that this video is actually going the right way, but either way, I don't know if this is better or not. Hey guys, how are you today? I wanted to come on really quickly, guys. This topic came to my mind as part of the last video that I did on last week. Last week we talked about how high value women get paid and not played. And that particular video came to me through a dream last week, like just the topic itself. And there have just been so many nuggets that have been dropped into my heart and into my spirit that I wanted to share with you guys. And some of the nuggets surround one main part of um, a woman's life that I know is super, super important to us, right? And I know that this area is super important to us because the number one reason that women actually hire me as a private coach is for men or male or dating problems, right? It is the number one reason by far. And I wanted to just come on today and kind of carry that same theme through, but talk to you guys about just the top two mistakes that I see a lot of women make over and over again when it comes to their dating life. And I went, so let me kind of give you the initial context of how I think about dating and mating and the whole marriage process, right? So, in general, when it comes to you being found by a mate or you attracting a mate that is of a certain quality and of a certain value, um, at the end of the day, this process will involve you getting to know men. And the way that you get to know men, generally, and especially in our current culture, is through dating. We are not, you know, we're not a part of a culture or a season in life whereby women found their mates or find their mates through their fathers or through their families or through arranged marriages. At least if you're here in America and you're watching this, that's just not how we mate in this current world. And our current mating system is done through the process of dating, right? And so, one of the things that I know that has been true for my life, if you guys don't know, I have been married to my college sweetheart for over 14 years. And we have been together, it'll be 17 years this year in November. And so, I've been with, my husband for a very long time. My dating and mating process ended pretty early in my life. And the reason why I think that is you guys may have met my mom, or you should have met my mom if you watched my past videos. She and I did a conversation a few years back about her very instrumental role in, I think, allowing me to find a king, provider, and protector so early in life. Excuse me, my lip gloss is a little thick. It's popping. But either way, um, her instructions were very instrumental to me laying a very good foundation in my dating life, which I think allowed me to build upon that foundation really strongly, right? And so I view the dating process as something that you will do your entire life, right? You don't just date in order to get married. And I think, even though this isn't even one of the tips, I think it's important to note that, right? I think that women and men, for some reason, think that once you get engaged, or once you, even if you find the person who is your like selected mate, you guys are working great together for this season of life, or maybe it'll be a lifetime. I know, none of us really know when love will actually, end, whether it's death or by choice or whatever else. But if you are just alive, that process of dating should never stop. All right. I've never stopped dating my husband. My husband has never stopped dating me. And I think when it comes to mating in our current world, we get so caught up in all of the other obligations in life that we often forget that. So while this is not part of my top two mistakes that I see women make, this is a part of the awareness that in the mating process you should always be dating. You should always be dating. This message is relevant to women whether or not you're, even if you're single, if you're engaged, or if you're married. I think a healthy dating life is what keeps you and your partner connected to each other in different seasons of life. You guys will change. Like I told you, I've been with my husband for 17 years. We're college sweethearts. We are not the individuals that we were when we started dating all those years ago. We've grown, we've evolved. And one of the reasons that I think our relationship has stayed in such great pace with each other is because we date, right? There's never been a season of our relationship where we didn't date. And even when I say season, there's never been a month. There's never been 1 month in my marriage life, and I've been with my husband, like I said, almost 17 years in December, and we've been married. It was 14 years in June. There's never been a season where we did not date. Never. There's never been a month where we didn't date, right? We've had a date night no matter how busy he's gotten with his career in medicine, no matter how busy I've gotten in my career with the law. We have always maintained date night as an important part of our lives. And you guys know we're expecting our first baby, a baby girl, in a few weeks. And so when it comes to her, I already have like our date nights planned for us and where she'll go and which family member she'll be with once our family resets from the birthing process. That should Dating should always be a priority in your mating relationship. Now, let's bring a little bit of balance. Of course, if you are a single woman or if you have just gone through a divorce, you may need a season where you're not dating, just to heal, just to regroup, and those types of things. And so I understand that. If you're dating and maybe you thought the relationship was going to go to an engagement or you thought it was going to go to a marriage and it fell apart before then, you may need a season where you're not dating. And so I want to make sure to acknowledge that exception. But shy of a serious heartbreak or any of that, you should have a rotation of high quality men that you are placing in your dating rotation if you're single. And if you are married or are engaged, you and your husband and your fiance should be going on delicious dates very, very often. I'm a fan of at least 2 to 3 times a month. If you have kids, it may be once a month. All of the dates don't have to be a lot of money. So I know people are like, well, how do you afford those dates? I think our culture has gotten so far away from the reality that dating is about data, it's about getting to know each other, it's about having fun, that we stay so focused on money as what you need to have in order to have a great date, right? Now, again, bring balance. If you are in the dating scene and you're a single woman, I am not talking about Netflix and chilling, because that is not you guys getting to know each other. That's you getting to know maybe each other's bodies, but it's not you getting to know each other as people. So the balance is that you guys can still have affordable dates whereby you're getting the goal of dating accomplished. So let's get into these top two mistakes that I see women making, and this keeps them from a very delightful dating and mating life, right? So your dating and your mating life should be delightful, right? It shouldn't feel like I'm not going to say that. It should be delightful. It should be delightful, okay? And too many women come to me, and in your dating life is nothing short of either a nightmare or just an extremely, extremely frustrating place in your life. And then for some of you, you just have an outright drought. Okay, like you just, sis, you ain't been on a date in years, and a lot of that has to do with your trust issues with men and not fully healing from past heartbreaks. So the number one mistake I see women make is Women don't approach dating from a very fun, light, or energetic place. Okay. Especially if you are a feminine woman. So I'm a feminine woman. You guys know I'll talk a lot about femininity, and that's just the idea of like, I like being a woman. I like being a girl, right? I like bringing that fun energy. When it comes to my mating life, I would say I'm probably more on the traditional side of things. When it comes to me wanting a masculine provider and protector, wanting a traditional male leader for my household. I am from a single parent home, so I don't know if that's very common for a lot of women in my background. But I grew up, although my father wasn't very present in my life, I grew up with uncles and cousins, male cousins who were older than me, who were the leaders of my family. And they were great leaders. So we just actually had a family reunion. And I think that my mother's family sort of covered that part of my life, whereby I've always had a very genuine respect and admiration for male leadership. My older male cousins and uncles, gave me a ton of love growing up. I was very protected. I was very cared for, although my biological father was not the man who gave me that. And it took me a while to make that connection. And so, what ends up happening is naturally, when a woman is protected and she's a feminine woman, which most of us are, 80% of women have a large amount of femininity. There are about 20% that biology says leans more to their masculine drive in this area, but most of us tend to sit in our femininity here. And what I learned is that naturally I'm light, I'm energetic, and I'm fun, right? I'm girly, I'm connected, when I show up, even in dates with my husband, and then also when I was still rotationally dating younger, based off of my mom's advice, like if I wasn't in an exclusive relationship with someone that I was dating, I knew to go right back into my rotation once that relationship ended. And when you are in your fun and light, energetic space as a woman, this is a mistake I see a lot of women make in our current world, that they don't do that. What ends up happening is you are in a position to receive from a man. Ironically, you're in a position to receive from him. You're in a position to get rewarded from him, and it's not about your blank ex life, right? It's not about that, even though that is an important part of your life, and that part of your being should be healthy, and you should have a good connection with it, because eventually in the dating and mating hello, we're talking mating, you guys should get to that point if everything goes in a healthy way. But femininity, when you show up light and fun, you are already primed to receive. And in this culture, you stand out because most women do not, just they don't show up like that. They show up jaded, they show up angry, they show up rolling their eyes, they show up thinking, what can I get? Oh, this is just a meal for me. And when you're in that mindset, I'm not knocking it if you've been heartbroken, like I said, but you probably shouldn't go on that date. To me, that says you're not excited about that man, and men can read that. And so it activates, both of you are kind of in your predatorial mode, where you're getting what you can get from him and he's looking to get what he can get from you. But the moment you show up pleasant, fun, excited, notice I did not say naive, right? So I think people are scared of this particular message because you think your light, fun energy means that you don't have boundaries or means that you're naive. Not that at all. What I have found is that many women don't know how to communicate their boundaries in a very positive or healthy way with a man. For example, if you're on a date and a man is like, hey, I want to take you back to my place, what I have seen, well, this is what I've heard with my private clients, how they respond is like, oh no, do you think I'm that type of person? Or they'll be quiet and just kind of go with the flow and end up in a situation that's a bit more, precarious for them, something that they didn't necessarily want to go to. They didn't want to go that far in the relationship or whatever else. I even had one client who experienced a very unfortunate situation that we talk about on Zoom, or we kind of break that situation down as a case study in some of my master classes, which we're going to put a pin right there. I am doing a mating masterclass. I'm a magical mating masterclass on August the 20th. So I'm going to link that below. You guys sign up. It's going to be a great time. And we're going to go a bit more in depth about, how do you communicate your boundaries. So for instance, let's say that happens to you on a date. You don't get irate with the man and you don't remain quiet and just kind of see where things go. The way that you would articulate that is you say, well, you know what? I appreciate the offer. I've had a wonderful time on our date as well. I definitely would love to see you again. However, until we're more exclusive, I would prefer that we remain in a more public place. Whatever your boundary is, make sure it's honest, right? So if you know you're in a place where you like this guy and you kind of do want to take it further, then that's your choice always as a woman, but just beware of the consequences because most of you who are watching me are too old and you already know if you go there and he don't call you back tomorrow, I don't want to hear it, right? I don't want to hear it. The number two mistake that I see women make when it comes to their dating life is they don't release men quickly when that man has crossed your non-negotiable. You should have non-negotiables in your dating life, and you should have non-negotiables in your dating life, in your um engagement life, and also in your marriage life. There are certain things that it's a no-go for me, right? Because as a woman, I know that it takes too much for me to rebuild my heart after a heartbreak. And if a man, shows me certain characteristics that are red flags, it's an immediate non-negotiable. The My mom taught me certain non-negotiables when I was a child, of course, but I would say that as I've gotten older, what ended up happening is me releasing men when they violated my non-negotiable the first time is what allowed me to attract my my husband, a real provider, king, loving, husband. Of course, you have to like teach them and different things like that, your unique love languages and stuff. But what made me, I think, attract him so fast was this issue of if you hit my non-negotiable, I released you from my dating rotation. I did so generally with love and a positive attitude. So many of the men that I, did not continue to allow in my dating rotation, they still look at me and they're like, oh, Dot's a great woman. Or, they've come around in different seasons to see if my husband and I have made it because people know relationships don't last. And they're like, yo, I was young, I was whatever, I'd love another chance. But what ended up happening is I found a man who has been solid and stable and has done his job there. So there's been no room for men to come back into my life romantically in that way after they violated my non-negotiable. So those are my tips. You guys sign up for the magical mating masterclass that we're doing on August the 20th. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be on Zoom, and the link is going to be below. And also, just tell me what really stood out to you in this video in the comments below. And I really do appreciate you guys. Okay.